Hello guys, today we'll be going through the mock challenges for InCTF in the web category. The first challenge we're going to cover is Web 10. Okay, let's get started. So as we can see in this, there is nothing much on the page. There are just a lot of images. But once we try to see the source, we find out that right click has been blocked. That we can easily bypass that by just giving a control U and viewing the source, and here we can see the flag. The second challenge we're going to go through is secure page. In this, once again. So in this challenge, we come across a directory and a file. Once we go into the directory, we just see a page which shows a very secure page, trust me. Going through the source, we find a comment which says something about swap files. So swap files are basically files which cache the main file or something, so it's there for backup. So if you know swap files, you can directly, you know the extensions, so you can directly read them by dot the file name, in this case index.php, and the swap file extension swp. And here we can see the entire source of index.php. Here we see we have to take and get parameter as flag and its content as nginx is configured poorly. We can do that by flag. Yeah, and this reveals as the flag. So the third one we are going to go through is secure PHP. So in this challenge we come across this string. Once by seeing this, we can get to know it's base 64. Once we decode it, we find out that it gives us a Python expression. So running that again, we get in this send a request parameter using view source. So we can do that. Yeah. And here we can see the entire PHP source file. So in this, the first thing we see is it takes a get parameter as flag, and it compares, and it does a string comparison with the variable flag, which must be there in flag.php. Now if you go through string comparison in the PHP documents, we'll find out that it's vulnerable by giving your input as an array. We can bypass this check. Yeah, and here we can see, thanks for giving the flag. That means we have bypassed this by giving our get as an array. The second one is secret. We have to give a parameter as secret, and in this we have to give secret string length equal to 13 and the integer value equal to 1729. It's a very fairly easy bypass. You can just do 1729 dot and respective zeros till it becomes a 13 character string. Here we find out here, here's your flag, and it's been commented out, so yeah, this is a flag. The fourth challenge we're going to do is CrackSeventeen. So in this challenge we come across this page. If we do a view source on it, we see there's nothing much, but there is a lot of JavaScript being executed on the page. So let's debug it. Going through it, we'll beautify it first. We'll set a few breakpoints. So as we can see, there is a function x Now for accessing X, basically this has to go through the first check, which checks that if our input is in the format of this regex, which is in InCTF and inside bracket, inside characters, any character and bracket close. So we can start by giving it in that format, some random characters, and that's it. As we can see, our debugger has started. We can check. Yeah, we can go through the function. It takes this. Nothing here, nothing much. It just takes the entire source of X as a recursive and returns an string. Next thing we see is this source. Now this source looks really odd, so we can see what's basically happening here is if you do a type of the source, we find out the source is actually an object, not a string. And if you have run this code, if you have tried this challenge, you will figure out at one point over here that your code stops and your web page crashes. Basically this occurs due to this loop over here. You can see for I is equal to 0, I is not equal to a dot length, where a is basically this thing being passed. And as you know, it's an object, as we can see right here. It will not have a length. Suppose I do source dot length. Yes, he crashed the page. Yeah, so it would crash the page. So basically to remove that, what I did was I created this as a separate JSF file. I took the entire source of the code and recreated it, and what I basically did was I removed the debugger over here and I just put the loop from 1 to 100. So once we run this page, which is yeah, I put in the same breakpoints. Run it. We hit here, we go there, and once we go into this function over here, it will run until 100 times and return an output C. Now once we look at C, here basically here it takes our input X, which we have given, and does a continuous XOR on it and gives you the output. And here we find out this X is not our input. This X is the source code of the entire function X. That's it. And here we can see our flag. Now to check and validate if this is a flag, basically we can give it in. So basically if we give it as an input, let's say access granted, so we know this is a flag. And the last challenge we are going to go through is magic cookie. And this challenge basically we land on the page saying that are you sure you checked all the cookies. And once we go and check the cookies, we basically see there is nothing there. The application cookies, we can see there is nothing there. Why don't we just try getting the cookies manually? You can do this via curl, but I prefer Python. as we can see, there was a cookie named expired with the value in CTF, which is basically a flag. Yeah, so that is it. Thank you for watching. We have covered all the basic mock challenges of InCTF.